Hello, all. Happy Thursday. Just admitting a few people as we all join. So while we're waiting for people to join, hi, I'm Kendra Rhodes. Welcome for anybody who is new. We will be training on Life Plan 360, and while we're waiting a minute for stragglers to join us, does anybody have any questions? Okay, so I see a couple of new names. Yep.
Kendra, what did you find out about the videos, the training program? You know, there's no more videos on the training.
That is still in progress. I guess they're working with the programmers. There's been issues on the back end that is far beyond what I can understand in terms of how websites work. So I apologize on that. It is being worked on. That's what I know.
Thank you.
So I'm just admitting a few people. Okay, perfect. So there'll be a couple more people joining, but I do see a few new names this week, so welcome. And if you are, this is kind of a two-part training, and we're in part 2. So if you're joining with us for the first time, welcome. We do these trainings every Thursday, and we will be doing a little bit of recap, but you might need to definitely follow along on all of our future trainings. But to get the first half of things, feel free to go through the software if you subscribe to it. Reach out to me if you're having any difficulties. And great. So we are a couple minutes past the top of the hour. So at this point, I am going to, one second, technical difficulties. Okay, there we go. Having 3 screens was supposed to make my life easier. It hasn't. For anyone who can commiserate. Okay, so can everybody see my screen? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, great. So for anybody who's new, I am very much into class participation. So feel free to participate. There are times when I will ask specifically for volunteers. But yeah, so so my apologies. I thought I did introduce myself. My name is Kendra Rhodes, and I run the Life Plan 360 trainings every Thursday. So I am actually based out of Massachusetts, and I have been licensed for 7 years. Okay, so just adding a few other people. Okay, great. So can everybody see my screen? I think we established this.
Yes, you're good.
Great. So just to give a quick recap, this is what we call the Life Plan 360 software platform. In here, you have your CRM where you can find all your clients, any new leads. You can post your website up. This will generate a website for you. You can post it. People can reach out to you. Then you can contact them, set appointments that way. There are trainings, which we are working on getting the videos fixed, just admitting people. And there are several other resources in here, which I highly recommend using. One that I use all the time is the PDF version of Money Wealth Life Insurance by Jake Thompson. It gives a brief history of whole life and how to use it as a financial planning tool, and several fabulous examples of how it has been used as a financial planning tool to found companies that we all know and love. Disneyland, McDonald's, Pampered Chef, just to name a few. Great. So give me a second, just admitting some people. And last week, we created a client. Okay, so this is our CRM, and it gives you a little button for the profile, so you can come in and see, you know, the name, email address, any other contact information, date of birth, who their spouse is, their contact information. Guys, just mind your background noise, unless you have questions. 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So feel free to participate in the training, but just mind your background noise. So, and then we started with a platinum client. So, sorry, multitasking. And if anybody has questions and you're jumping in the chat, I am running the whole thing by myself. So if I'm not answering your question, feel free to just jump in and ask me. Because the chat is usually the one that gets neglected. So we created this client and we walked through how to create a plan for them. We talked about where they're at, what we can do for them. So step one is, or the intro is the 10,000 foot view on what we can do for them. Step one is, what is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Specifically, how much is it going to cost you? Step two, we explain to them, you know, their life circle. You know, you're here, this is how old you are, you're going to retire in 18 years. These are all of the things that you have going on between now and then. And, you know, for anybody who did not see last week's training, this is a very brief overview. It took us a little over an hour to go through the whole first half last week. So yeah, and, you know, going through what is a budget, and, you know, how much do you have in retirement accounts? How much do you need in retirement accounts, etc. All these fun little toggle buttons up here that you can click on and they tell you exactly what you need to say. A client does not need to know that you are reading it, but clients do appreciate when they can read along with what you're saying. Parkinson's laws. Work expands to fill the time available for completion, and expenses rise to match the available income. So fun little tools. I use them all the time. And especially with Parkinson's laws, I've been doing this for a while. I still bring those up so people can see it as I say it. Okay, so step three is really the the meat of the equation. This is where we really dig in to what they have going on. This is where we are building the bank. We take a look at every single thing that they are doing right now, and then we see how we're not pulling any more money out of their budget. We have not talked about their expendable cash at all. What we're doing is seeing where they're directing money now. And right back to Parkinson's law number 2, guys, expenses rise to match the available income. So if you pay something off and you do not redirect those dollars and give them a new job, they will find something to do, but it won't be achieving your goals. They'll just disappear into the ethos, never to be seen or heard from again. So this is where we build the bank, we redirect those dollars. Anybody ever heard the phrase idle hands are the devil's playthings? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, great. So idle money works the same way. If idle money is not given a job, it will find one on its own, and it might not be in your best interest. So we're redirecting, we're giving everything a job. We've built the bank. Step 4, I believe we also went over last week. And this is when we review everything. We talk about how much does it cost to raise a child from birth to sending them off to college, and how much money, again, Parkinson's law number 2, when they're not living in our house and we're not spending $10,000 a year on them anymore, we need to recapture those dollars. So we go over that here. We're saving money, building the bank. And then we get to the retirement bit where, based on the money in a tin can, we've saved $1.3 million. If it can grow 40% over the next 18 years, they're thrilled about it. Again, recapping very quickly. So we end up with a guaranteed growth of $1.8 million, and their retirement accounts that they had currently, they told us that they are going to grow 3 times. Just muting a few people. So great. So we end up with a total retirement of $2.3 million. So that's great. We built them a bank. We told them that we can get here. What have we not talked about yet?
If they have other retirements or other things that can help start them out, like, I guess, pulling from other things before they tap into these dollars.
So in theory, we have talked about that because we talked about any IRAs, 401ks, Roth. We probably have talked about a pension if they have one. But have we talked?
Social Security.
Social Security, we have not talked about a whole lot yet. But have we talked at all about what we're going to do with this, how we're going to get here?
No.
Have we talked about any vehicles at all?
No, ma'am.
Exactly. So that is what today is about. So the first appointment, we have kind of showed them you can't continue to do what you're doing and get to where you want to be. But we also show them, hey guys, there is hope. You can actually get there. The second appointment is figuring out how. What are we doing with it? How are we getting there? And for those of you who are new, yes, there is a path, but I never, ever argue with people, ever. I never tell them that they're wrong. I never tell them that, what they're doing is wrong, because as soon as you even imply that, they've just put up a wall because you have attacked them personally. I let other people do the speaking for me. So even going back to, it's not on this page, it's on step 3. I never, ever tell people that their 401k is a bad idea. I know from personal experience that a 401k is a very bad idea, but I let Ted Benna say it. And Ted Benna is the creator of the 401k. And that he said that money that is not matched is better in another vehicle. So basically, I refer to experts. I always let other people do the speaking for me. I never actually say anything. I let other people say it. Does that make sense? Like, clearly I'm verbalizing, but I'm not telling them anything. I'm referring to other experts. Yes, no, maybe?
Yep.
Okay, good. So that being said, now we need to figure out what we're doing with this money. So we're going to go on to step 5. So at the end of last week, we talked about that they were going to need to build their own vehicle. So do I have any volunteers? I will call on people. Keisha, great, you're volunteering.
Yay!
Okay. So we talked about last week that there were certain things that you wanted in a vehicle if you were going to use it for your college funding plans and for retirement planning, right?
Right.
Okay. So we definitely we're planning for college, right? So you want FAFSA to not be able to see wherever you're putting this money, correct?
Exactly. Yes.
Great. So why don't we make it FAFSA free? Oh, guys, for anybody who doesn't know what FAFSA is, for anybody who's new, FAFSA is the federal application for student aid, or the free application for federal student aid. I can't remember exactly. One way or another, everyone who is filing for any sort of financial aid, federal or private, needs to fill out FAFSA. And they dock you down for anything that you have. So, okay, great. So we had also talked about the IRAs that you have, and that, you're going to be taxed on those in future, and you're not sure what the tax rate is going to be at that time. So where you're putting money now, would maybe having it not be taxed be of benefit to you?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, great. So we'll say that it will be tax-free as well. So also along with the IRAs and the 401k, if you needed to access that now, you said that you'd get hit with a 10% penalty, I think you said?
10%, and then IRS too. So
and the tax, which great, we're looking at stuff that's tax-free. But we also talked about on your life circle that you have a lot of things going on before retirement. So if you needed to access that money for something, do you want something that that might have penalties, or do you want something that doesn't have penalties?
penalty free all day.
Right, because you're not irresponsible with your money. You don't need somebody to slap your wrist for using it.
Right.
You've been a saver your whole life. So, okay. We also talked about the volatility in the market. So is, with the 401k and the IRA and the Roth that you have, you had mentioned that volatility worries you. It keeps you up at night.
Yes, it does. Especially now, seeing how the market's going down.
Exactly. So would something that is guaranteed to have a steady rate of growth be of interest?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So why don't we include guaranteed? Okay. And also with the vehicles that you're using now, you can't necessarily access them when you want that, when you need the money. Is that correct?
No, you cannot.
So
for education or buying a house.
Yeah. So when you need money now, right?
Yes.
So would having some liquidity and having access to your money when you need it be of value?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So why don't we take a look at having our money in a place that is liquid as well? So we've got FAFSA free, we've got liquid, we have penalty free, we have tax free, and we have guaranteed. Are there any other attributes that if you were to use this vehicle to build your bank, that you would like your bank to have?
I mean, like easy more than that. I mean, just easy to do or to get to.
Easy? Okay, great. So yeah, I mean, anything that is liquid, is penalty free, and you want a reasonable time frame to turn around, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we'll speak to that as well. Remind me of that. So basically, these are the various financial vehicles that are available in the market today. So we have qualified funds, that's your IRA, that's your 401k, your 403b. We have cash value life insurance. We have Roth IRAs. We have annuities, We have stocks and bonds. We have college savings plans, also known as 529s. We have mutual funds and we have bank accounts. Can you think of anything else?
No, I mean, cryptocurrency, I mean, would that
Okay.
be?
Cryptocurrency would probably follow the same
Stocks and
pattern
bonds.
as stocks and bonds.
Mhm.
So if anybody brings that up,
They just report the time of day, so
Income producing real estate.
real estate is the other one that I hear a lot. Okay, great. So we will speak to that. It is not in our little chart here, but we will speak to that as well. So remind me. Okay, great. So Keisha, how important is it? Remember that we're definitely planning for college because that's coming up imminently.
Right.
We had a kid that's going to school in September, I think, with this client.
Okay.
Yeah. So how important is it that it be FAFSA free, that you not get penalized for working really hard and saving?
100%.
100%? Great. So how important is it that your vehicle be liquid, that you have easy access to your money when you need it immediately?
100%.
100%. Perfect. So penalty free. How important is it that nobody be slapping your wrist for using your own money?
Oh, 100%.
100%. And tax free. How important is it that you not pay taxes at a future rate that you're not sure what that's going to be when you 100%?
Yeah.
Okay. And how important is it that it is guaranteed to be there when you need it?
Now on that, I would like to say 100%, but I mean, I know how things are, so I'm gonna say maybe 50% on that one.
50%?
I would love 100, but you know.
Well, why don't we'll
Be
split the
realistic.
difference on that. We'll say
Okay.
75.
Okay, 75.
Okay, 75%?
Yeah.
Great. And honestly, guys, go with whatever they say, because some people are going to be like, oh, I need to prioritize these, which is most important to me. Just go with whatever they say. If they're really hedging, you can tell them, like, if this is an ideal world, this is life in a vacuum. If you could have anything you want, how important is it to have da 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 da. So yeah, some people will get really stressed out about this. It's not the end of the world. With some people, you just need to gloss over it. Anywho, so moving on to the various financial vehicles. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at which of these vehicles has these qualities. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. So qualified funds, are those visible to FAFSA or are they FAFSA free?
I think they're visible.
Qualified funds are actually FAFSA free. They're
Okay.
not. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm also going to click on, for people who don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to click on the toggle answer to make it show up. And I might also make a head motion so that
Okay.
I'm giving them the answer, but I'm looking for client participation here.
Got it.
I'm looking for them to tell me. Qualified funds are IRAs, 403Bs, and 401Ks. Anything that falls under the IRS categories as retirement monies, basically. So Roth is a category of qualified money, but it doesn't follow the same rules and requirements of qualified money because you've already paid taxes on it. So it never is subject to a required minimum distribution, and it will not be taxed when you go to pull it out, provided that the account has been in existence for at least 5 years, and the person pulling it out is at least 59.5 when they pull it out. Does that answer your question, Timothy? Okay, good. Okay, so qualified funds. Are qualified funds liquid?
No.
Okay. Are they penalty free?
No.
Are they tax free?
No.
Are they guaranteed?
No.
Okay. So what about cash value life insurance? Is cash value life insurance FAFSA free?
Yes.
Is it liquid?
Yes.
Is it penalty free?
Yes.
Is it tax free?
Yes.
Is it guaranteed? Okay. Let's take a look at those Roths that you have. Are Roths FAFSA free?
Yes.
Are they liquid?
No.
Are they penalty free?
No.
Are they tax free?
No.
Are they guaranteed?
No.
Okay, so on this one, I'm just going to point out that you're going to have people who will argue with you that a Roth is tax-free because it's post-tax dollars that grows in a tax-free way. But if they are under 59 and a half, when they pull it out, there are penalties and tax. If the account is less than 5 years old, there is tax. So we cannot in 100% of all cases say that Roths are tax-free, and that's why we say no. Okay, moving on. Annuities. Are annuities FAFSA free?
Yes.
Are they liquid?
Yes.
No.
Did somebody say yes on annuities being liquid? So annuities will eventually be liquid depending on the contract, but they are by contract. So during the surrender period, there is exceedingly limited liquidity inside of an annuity contract. That being said, there is a place for them.
Exception?
Sorry, say that again.
There's an exception. After the first year, you can pull out 10% per year of the value of the annuity without incurring any penalty at all, but you will be taxed.
That is dependent upon the annuity. Some annuities are 10, some annuities are 5, some annuities, there are exceptions that do not have them at all. It depends on what the contract says. So, and that's what's referred to as a free withdrawal. But in terms of planning, you have to know exactly how much you have in that account, and you need to know what 10% of it is. So in terms of liquidity, we're going to say no, because it doesn't fall into it is 100% liquid all of the time type of thing. So with annuities, are they penalty free?
No.
Are they tax free?
No.
So again, with the tax-free, it depends on what type of money you're putting into an annuity. And this is just for you guys' edification. I would not go over this much detail with a client unless they bring it up. So anything that is just no, just keep moving unless they ask a question or clarification. So if it's a Roth annuity, yes, the proceeds, if it falls under everything else, will be tax-free. Any other type of annuity will incur tax upon withdrawal. Okay, so are annuities guaranteed?
Yes.
Yes, they are. So what about stocks and bonds? Are stocks and bonds FAFSA free?
No.
Okay. Are they liquid?
Yes.
Are they penalty free?
Yes.
Are they tax free?
No.
Are they guaranteed?
No.
So what about college savings plans? Our 529s that the government encourages us to start for our kids? Are college savings plans FAFSA free?
No.
Meaning you can't see it for college? No, they're not. Are they liquid?
No.
Are they penalty free?
No.
Are they tax free?
No.
Are they guaranteed?
No.
If it doesn't fit any of our criteria, why are we using it to fund our kids' college?
Right.
So mutual funds, are mutual funds FAFSA free?
No.
Are they liquid?
Yes.
Are they penalty free?
Yes.
Are they tax free?
No.
Are they guaranteed?
No.
Okay. Excuse me.
Question,
Yes.
you said annuities are guaranteed. That's only in the case of fixed or fixed index. If it's a variable annuity, there's no guarantee at all, usually.
That is true, but in terms of the realm of what we do for clients, the vast majority of us are not licensed to provide variable products. So anything that we could do for a client, annuities would be guaranteed. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. So bank accounts, are bank accounts FAFSA free?
No,
Are they liquid?
no. Oh, yeah, they are liquid.
They are liquid. You can just go to the ATM and pull out a couple $100.
Right.
Are they penalty for, and actually that's a really good point about bank accounts being liquid, because if you've got $50,000 in a bank account, you
It's
can't
not
just
liquid.
walk up to the teller and say, I need $50,000. There's usually
liquid.
forms to fill out in a waiting period.
Mhm.
So that's a good point. Are bank accounts penalty free?
Depends on who you're asking.
That is also a good point. But in terms of a regular
Yeah.
savings account at the, the Salem 5 or Bank of America,
Yes.
they're penalty free. The exception would be a CD because that's a contract.
Right.
Are they tax free? No, they're not. So that 12 cents that you earn in interest every month or every other month, depending on how small your interest rate is, that's technically taxable. It's negligible, but it is technically taxable. And are bank accounts guaranteed? Yes.
What's your point? Yeah,
Yes. And again, you'll have people who say that, and people in the upper brackets of society know the rules surrounding bank accounts, that they are guaranteed up to $250,000 by the FDIC. Anything over that is not technically guaranteed, but most people don't have that much money in a standard bank account. So there's no reason to debate that point. Okay, great. So we've got our chart here of all of the, we talked about real estate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So real estate is not FAFSA free. It is not liquid. We would have to figure out how to pull out equity if we needed money from it. It is penalty free is kind of a gray area. You can sell it without penalty, but you might be losing money because of market fluctuation. So is that really a penalty? Anywho, tax-free, no, it is not tax-free because you have to pay capital gains tax on any growth that you have. And is it guaranteed? No, because you may not be able to access the money when you need it. And it's a real estate. It's tangible. It fluctuates as the market does. So yeah, if it fluctuates, not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Okay, so anywho, that being said, so we were talking about using one of these vehicles for a bank based on its attributes. So we have a one-time deposit of $52,300. And in this bank, we are saving $57,552 annually. So we're going to recap all of these financial vehicles. So thinking about our bank and its attributes, would we want to discuss bank accounts further to use for this purpose? No?
None of
Okay.
the other ones, but
Right. So we'll hit the toggle button and we'll hide that. What about mutual funds?
No.
What about college savings?
No.
No, I like that big no. What about stocks and bonds?
No.
No?
No.
What about annuities? Right. For the bank, probably not, because we've got the liquidity and penalty issue in the middle.
Right.
But to guarantee some of the retirement accounts to make them more guaranteed, we'll come back and talk about that for a different reason. But thinking about our bank, what about Roth?
No.
No? What about cash value life insurance?
Yes.
Great. We'll leave that one up. What about qualified funds?
No.
No. Okay. So looking at all of these different financial vehicles, based on the attributes that you said that you wanted in your bank, the only one that passed the stress test is cash value life insurance. But it's also the only one that you don't have. Why is that?
Never knew the value or saw the need for it.
You never saw the need for it? You never saw the value of it?
No.
Has anybody even told you about it before?
No. No. I mean, besides having it at work, and I know for, parents having it, but I mean, it wasn't ever this type of money. It was just enough to put them in the ground. That's how we've always been taught. So just a small policy.
Okay, so you've heard of whole life,
Mhm.
but it was always just enough to
Very
more like burial insurance.
insurance, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you never really knew that it was something that could build cash value internally, that you could use it like a bank where you can make deposits and withdrawals and
Never
use
had
it to
a clue.
fund your life, your retirement.
Never had a clue.
Okay,
I
great.
have heard someone say, whole life, you have to pay for it your whole life. That made it, negative, like it was a negative thing to pay for.
Okay. And guys, that is going to be a common objection. You're going to hear whole life is expensive. Whole life is, whole life is the devil. Not the devil. What's the word he uses? Evil. You'll hear that Dave Ramsey says that whole life insurance is evil. Okay. That's very interesting. So is whole life expensive? I just want to address a couple of objections. Is whole life expensive? So if you have a term life policy, it's a 30-year term, and over 30 years, it costs you $75,000.
Mhm.
At 30 years and 1 day, how much money has that policy cost you?
$75,000.
But what do you have?
Oh, nothing.
You have nothing, right? Because it's expired. The
Mhm.
term is up.
Yeah.
Okay. So a whole life policy that you've paid for it for 30 years, and this policy has cost you $150,000.
Mhm.
But you actually have cash value in it equal to the $150,000 that you have spent on it. How much does it cost you?
Nothing.
And how much do you have? What do you have left?
$150,000.
Plus the death benefit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I say plus the death benefit, it's kind of an either or situation, just to be very clear on this. That if you died, you would have the death benefit minus any loans on the policy. But if you use the cash value, you have that cash value available to you. So yeah, you've put $100,000, $150,000 into it, which theoretically out of pocket is more than that 75,000, but you still have it for the rest of your life. And you can leverage it to fund your life if necessary, if you wish to. So, when people like Dave Ramsey say that it's expensive, I like using that type of analogy to prove to them it's really not costing them anything. It's just an investment.
Right.
And also, why would Dave Ramsey say that something like whole life is evil? Why is it evil?
Could it be because this is Robert? Good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi. Could it be because he feels you can't get any immediate gratification from it?
Close. Actually, because Dave Ramsey wrote his book in 1991 when they literally did an experiment. Yes, thanks, Vince. I'll get to that in a second. They did an experiment to figure out how easy it was to make money in the market. They literally had I think it was a chimpanzee throw darts at a dartboard to figure out what stocks they were going to invest in.
Okay.
And the monkey made money. So literally a monkey with a dartboard could make money in the stock market in 1991 when Dave Ramsey wrote his book. So
Okay.
that being said, he said that whole life is evil because if you are not making 12% in your portfolio, you should fire your financial advisor. And whole life only guarantees you 6% return every year. So I have two questions. One, is anyone making 12% a year
No.
Exactly. No, it doesn't, Timothy. It does not average 12% a year. It actually averages about 3.5% a year. Two, would anybody here be upset if they were guaranteed to make 6% a year every year?
No,
No,
No.
So is whole life evil?
No.
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 It does exactly what it said it would do in that case.
You said it. I didn't.
Comment?
Yep.
Dave Ramsey's advice always, and Susie Orman and a whole bunch of them have always been saying, buy term and invest the difference.
Yep.
But the problem is that most people, one, cannot stick to a savings plan where they invest regularly. And two, the market, that advice for the market was great up until 2000. Since
Mhm.
then, the market has crashed 3 times. And what was said before, according to Warren Buffett, simply doesn't apply from 2000 on.
Yep. Warren Buffett actually has 2 rules of money. Do you know what they are?
Never lose money.
And what's the second rule?
And
Never forget rule number 1.
Refer to rule number 1. Yep, that's exactly it. So if you are not a financial guru that has 24/7 to be watching the stocks and know exactly where it is and the power of large numbers and all of this, isn't it a whole lot smarter to follow Warren Buffett's rules of money to have things that are guaranteed to grow all the time?
Yes. The other thing too is that most, I think the last figure I saw was 86% of stock pickers from mutual funds and hedge funds do not beat the Standard & Poor's EFT, which is non-managed money.
Yeah, exactly. They can't, because the 2 things that are guaranteed about the stock market are it will go up and it will go down. But what we as consumers don't know is we don't know when and we don't know how much. We don't have a crystal ball. But I can say that things that I do for clients are guaranteed. There isn't a stockbroker or a financial advisor on the planet that can legally say that. And Andrew had a really good point a minute ago. Dave R. is not licensed. Neither is Susie Ormond or really any of those talking heads. Does anybody know how they make money?
Publishing.
They sell books.
Right, those courses.
Yeah. So if you are trying to sell something, you need to say something that ruffles feathers. You have to say something that goes against the grain. You have to say something new. You have to say something inflammatory. And, you know, they're never going to back down from their point because it's making them millions of dollars a year.
Right, exactly. It's the same way in anything, and even in the religious field, the people that take that position, you know.
Right. And when someone argues that point with you, you can come back to step 1. And of course it logged me out because I was on that page too long. Give me a second. So when it does this to you, when you're with a client, I usually just say, bear with me a second, guys. You know, my software has timed out, which is actually a good thing because it means that your information is never left up anywhere. It'll log itself out if it's left too long, which usually makes people happy. So if somebody is trying to argue that point that, oh, well, you're trying to sell something. Okay. I have a fiduciary responsibility to do what is in the best interest of my client without acting in my own best interest. I have a fiduciary responsibility, guys. And by the way, it's an amazing number of people who know what a fiduciary is because a lot of financial advisors tout being a fiduciary. So knowing this definition will keep a lot of people from just being like, oh, you're not a fiduciary. Okay, I'm done. I'm not going to deal with this. Sal, send me an email. I'm putting my email in the chat. Helps if I can spell my own email right. Okay, that's my email. Send me an email. Okay, great. So yeah, make sure that you know what your fiduciary responsibility is, because as soon as people want to say, oh, you're not a fiduciary, I need somebody who's a fiduciary. So yes, you have a fiduciary responsibility. So going back to step 5. And speaking of fiduciary responsibility, brokers have a very different fiduciary responsibility as to what we do. They can justify their beliefs by saying, well, I believe that this is in their best interest. But if you have a financial interest in the actions of someone else, you cannot actually do solely what is in their best benefit. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that. It is a proven fact that if you have a financial interest in the actions of someone else, you cannot do what is solely in their best interest. That being said, we don't tell anybody what to do ever. We show them what is possible. We have them build their product, and then they choose what they're going to do. So is it legal for us to call cash value life insurance an investment? I don't call it an investment. I'm not 100% sure if it's legal or not. I'm going to hedge on that it's not, because it's, let me Google that. Investment. Definition. Guys, there's a lot of background noise. If you have background noise, can you please mute yourself? Investment, the action or process of investing money for profit or material results. Investment is the dedication of an asset to attain an increase in value over a period of time. Investment requires a sacrifice of some present asset, such as time, money, or effort. In finance, the purpose of investing is to generate a return from the invested asset. Okay, in which case I would argue that it's not investment, because it's not. We're not sacrificing anything. We are making a purchase and we are leveraging that purchase. We are
I think
purchasing.
the IRS would be happy if we called it an investment as well.
I'm sorry?
I don't think the IRS would be happy if we call it an investment as well.
Probably not. Because an investment also generally lends itself toward there being some sort of taxable profit. And anything from as long as we keep it a non-MAC life insurance policy, any proceeds from it are not taxable. So yeah, it's not an investment. I never actually thought about the legality of it or not. I was always taught not to call it an investment. So there we go. Yes, so from here, and now it's not letting me close this. Okay, so from here, I would ask a client if they had any further questions or if they were ready to proceed. Normally, we have spent enough time on this that we're going to organize a next appointment to proceed with the applications. But before we got to the second appointment, I would have illustrations ready to show them. So I'm actually going to pull up a file that I have.
Comment?
Yep.
Dave Ramsey is a former insurance agent, and Susie Orman was a stockbroker with Merrill Lynch for a number of years, and then became the vice president of investment securities at Beige Prudential.
Okay.
So she does have a financial background, but her very first pamphlet was actually written on life insurance, comparing insurance. That's where her background is.
Okay, but she is not currently licensed. Why is
No,
this?
no, she is not.
Right. So, and the reason that both of them can get away with saying what they do is because they are not licensed.
Oh, okay.
Because
So there's, go ahead, sorry.
they have no legal responsibility to follow certain codes of ethics, because they are not licensed. If either one of them was licensed, what they are currently saying they would lose their licensure.
All right.
So what
So
they have been saying for the last 30 years, they would lose their licensure.
got a quick question,
Mhm.
Kendra.
Yep.
So if someone argues that they've been attending Dave Ramsey or reading his books and that cash value life insurance or life insurance in general is evil, when I hear you saying that you can come back and don't argue with them, of course, share with them that you about fiduciary responsibility and show them on the screen what all that is, and that I can lose my license if I can't tell you what to do.
Well, I don't necessarily even say that. It's okay. So Dave Ramsey says that it's evil. Why does he say it's evil? I
Okay.
make them give me all of the information, right?
Okay.
So, I give examples, I show proof, I make them come to conclusions.
Mhm.
I never actually say anything definitive like that. When I like, notice how I went after the investment question.
Mhm.
I can tell you guys things, but this is how I do it with clients as well, where I will show them my source. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm let's look that up, and I'll show them, or even like if it's something I know, I will, and I'd like them to know that I know, I'll still show them my source. Like when I am doing a calculation of any kind, they're telling me that they make $100,000 a year, and their employer matches 50% of 4% of their salary. Okay, great. So we've got $100,000 a year multiplied by 4% times 50%
2,000.
is $2,000. I could tell you that in my head. Like it'd be faster for me to do the math in my head. The point is that I'm showing them how I did it. Does that make sense? So my whole thing when meeting with a client is that there are no smoke and mirrors. I share everything I do with the clients because they're already hesitant to believe that this is possible because they've never heard of it before. So anytime that's not, you can't actually do that. Okay, well, here's all of my work. I'm showing you the math. Numbers don't lie. Math doesn't lie. Statistics can be manipulated by what is included or not. But straight math doesn't lie. We got to $2,000 because it's half of 4% of their salary. And I showed them that. So anytime I'm doing anything with a client, I show them my work all the time. So step 6, this is just a PDF of everything that we have gone over. So I can send this to them. And there's a little link in there. It just says send link to client. So if you click that, they'll just get an email with this link in it. But it goes over everything that we've talked about, their life plan, the dollars in a tin can, we sent your kid to college, so now they're not living in your house and it's costing you less money. What are we doing with that overage? How did we rearrange your assets and liabilities to create a plan for you? What does it look like? What does your stress test look like? What does everything else you have going on look like? So we know that we've got college coming up. So we're going to be pulling out a certain amount of money each year for that. What are your cumulative withdrawals? What's the year-end balance? How much money do you have in qualified retirement? What is your mortgage schedule? look like. Oh, by the way, guys, the mortgage schedule balance will not show up if you don't put in a refi. So in step 3, if you don't put in a refi, the mortgage schedule balance will not show up. Just FYI, people have asked me that before. Why is this not showing up? But so at the end of step 5, I will usually have a spreadsheet that looks similar to this, but it'll have actual numbers in it. That shows client 1 has an illustration, client 2 has an illustration, and this is their total. And we can talk about how much. Do I have one that doesn't have names on it? Give me 1 second. I hadn't planned on showing this today, but I can. Insurance. 360. I don't think this one has names on it, so. Yeah, because this just says overview on it. Bear with me, I'm opening another file. Okay. So this is the total that I did for a different client. So this is partner 1, this is partner 2, and this is their total. So for anyone that this looks like completely foreign to, this is basically a forester's illustration. If you go to the overview tab, it's the quick view, I think, and you download the CV file, you can just drop it in here and add it all up, and you can put in their expenditures. This family wants to put an addition on the house. They want to get new cars. They want to theoretically pay off the house. You know, their kid will go to college. That's how much money they have spent. This is the guaranteed value of their policy in a particular year. So does that make sense of how you can show these things to clients? This is not in the software yet, but they're working on getting this file in there as well.
Okay, good. Would this be overwhelming to the client or?
Depends on the client. You have to gauge your client. So you're going to have clients that are very show me, show me, show me. And then you're going to have clients who will go on blind faith. And some clients are like, well, you know, but that's not exactly what you said. Okay, great. You're right, it isn't. But I don't know for a fact that when your kid goes to college in 2 or 3 years, that you're actually going to recapture that $10,000 a year per kid. I can't account for that. So if in fact you do, we can talk about how to use that and how to incorporate it in your plan. We just played that plan out for the next 20 years. I don't know that you're actually going to do it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So at that point, usually it's time to either address more objections. I often send clients the PDF copy of Money Wealth Life Insurance. And honestly, if people are really skeptical, we can go to, there is a website. Which I think I've gone through this with people before, but we'll do it again. The FDIC website. Can somebody give me a bank name, please? Anybody?
Chase,
Anything but Chase.
Bank of America.
Bank of America.
Bank of America. Because Chase is weird, but if they want to see Chase, you can show it to them. But I just want to prove a point. So it's usually the one with the lowest number, assets and liabilities. And yep, March 31st is the most recent date. So we're going to generate their assets and liabilities report. So most people think that banks have a lot of assets in real estate. So bank premises and fixed assets and other real estate. And these dollar figures are in the thousands. So we need to add 3 zeros to get the full figure. So it was 10 and 11. So really, we've got like $19.5 billion. So thousands, millions, $1 billion in real estate. Sound like a lot?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, good. So now we're going to come down to life insurance assets. Thousands, millions, billions of dollars. We have $24 billion in Bank of America's life insurance assets. So if the banks do it to make money, do you think it's a good idea?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, the question to ask them is, do you think that your bank is really good at making money?
Yes.
Without fail, they will say yes. Then you show them their bank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Sovereign Bank, which is now Santander, People's Bank, really pick a bank. The only one that's different is Chase, and I will show you that. So Chase
Just kind of low, huh?
still does have a lot of, it's JP Morgan Chase. They still have a lot of money in, so they've got $23 billion in real estate and $12 billion in life insurance. But you have to think about what JP Morgan does. So they have a slightly different setup, but for literally any other bank, they are they're life insurance based. So, and we can go over Boley
They're only
and
like 218 million.
218
Yeah,
million.
the real estate. They only put money in the real estate own. Very
Oh,
low.
yeah, most banks have significantly less. So let me go back to the original. So I've been asked what website this is. This is the FDIC website. So I'm gonna go back to this page and drop the link. So that is the link to this page. Okay, so we are at the top of the hour, guys. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Are there any last minute questions before we adjourn for the day?
About the spreadsheet, did you teach us how to transfer the number later?
On this training, I haven't. I can in future.
Yeah. in the-
Also, guys, I want to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of these trainings. So as we do have several new people, I believe I've put my email in, but I will put it in again. Next step financial. So that is my email address. Please feel free to reach out to me if there's something specific that you would like to see in future trainings. And let me know. So I am I'll actually be away for a couple weeks in July, but Ray will be taking care of those trainings. So we will continue to have weekly trainings. If there's anything that you need help with, anything that you'd like to see in a training, please feel free to reach out to me. I want to make sure that these trainings are as beneficial to you guys as possible. I don't want to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff that no one cares about. So, yep, that's it. And we are a couple minutes past. So with that, have a great weekend, guys, and I will see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Bye.